There's help out there no matter what. There's always someone right there who's willing to grab your hand or give you a hug or even just smile at you and wave. All the little things count. All the little things count, and there's always someone there for you.
In Florida, he really didn't have the back support from the school system or like a program like Kids Oneida. Nobody believed in him. You know what I mean? Everybody looked at the bad part of everything. You know, his home life was not that great, switching between homes, going from school to school, meeting new friends. That's a hard adjustment. Most of us go to 1 or 2 schools all our life, you know, and Chris has been in 13 different places to live, 6, 7 different schools, meeting new people, different neighborhoods.
In Florida, I have gotten in trouble for multiple things, such as graffiti, disrespecting adults.
I wasn't the brightest student. I failed a couple of classes and I was misbehaving in school. And I got kicked out of school and I was sent to BOCES. Then from BOCES, I got locked up after for about 3 years.
I went into placement when I was 14 years old, and it was a pretty eye-opening experience. I hated it at first, you know, just being away from family, and you know, I just felt like, you know, I got placed at a place called Skill Valley, which was a non-secure detention center, where most of us go before they go to Elmcrest, and that's pretty much to help gauge, you know, what kind of needs that you'll need, and what kind of treatment you'll need, and things like that. It was a pretty big eye-opener for me because it was a strict place. There was a lot of discipline, and I didn't know what to expect at all. Because I mean, when you get home, I mean, if you want to go get something to eat, you go get something to eat. If you want to use the bathroom, you just go, you know, you do your business. But here, it was very much different. You had to ask permission, and then when I got into actual placement, it was a whole nother world, and it was a big eye-opener for me.
Well, as a kid, I had a couple of issues and everything, and my mom did her best as she can to keep me bunkered down and everything, but it got too much for her at times, and she thought it would be a good idea for me to be put in placement for a little while. I had a couple of little struggles in placement, in and out and stuff, and then after about maybe 3 placements, I came to be in Kids Oneida, which really helped.
I was raped from 8 to 11. I went to tell my mom because I just got so sick of it. And I told her, I was like, look, Mom, like, he raped me. And she didn't believe me, like, either did the guy. I dropped out of school when I was 17. And I dropped out because I got pregnant. So then I was living with my mom at the time. So I dropped out of school, and I said I was going to go back, but I never did until I moved here.
After 9/11 and being in the military and having been mortuary affairs, you know, there's a lot of things that I had seen that affected things in my life. I had post-traumatic stress disorder.
I wasn't allowed to work. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. If I went to the grocery store, I had to take the older kids with me so they could report who I talked to and what I did. I had to wear sweatpants all the time or pajamas. I wasn't allowed to make myself presentable. I got a haircut maybe once a year. There was just a lot of abuse on every level, physical, emotional, mental.
Well, I was just in the hospital a year ago in March because I was like cutting and I was really suicidal.
There was a knock at the door, and basically my mom left. She just paranoid. She wouldn't leave with just anyone. So, and Cheyenne says she hears Bill talking, and out of nowhere she just hears a gunshot out in the woods and everything. My sister ran out there. She saw Bill leave, and then she basically saw Mom just laying there. And after my mom was killed, it was basically like, since it's small town police, and he's a police officer, I felt like everything was covered up because nothing was seemed proper. Like, there was no investigation, nothing, and she had a gunshot to the chest and she was stabbed.
I was involved with case planning because of allegations, certain issues concerning my son. I ended up incarcerated for making the wrong choices. That's where I met my case planner, and she worked with me the whole time I was incarcerated until I got out. When I was released from jail, she suggested, other programs to help me get custody of my son back. At the same time, help me with my addiction problem, which I had at the time. I didn't want to, but I knew it was the best thing for me to do. So I signed a contract to become a participant to Oneida County Family Treatment Court. And I graduated the program within 10 months.
I left because he was into bath salts, and he would go on 3-day binges where he wouldn't eat. He wouldn't come out of the basement unless it was to argue or pick a fight. And he had a gun that he pointed at the kids and I. He took my phone, the internet modem, any means of communication outside of the house. He took all of that. And he made a mistake and left the house phone on the computer desk when he came upstairs to check on something. So I went into the bathroom and called his mother and asked her to call the police, and he was arrested, and that's when that was my starting point. That's too much. The kids can't see this anymore. He's not going to change. I spent a long time asking myself, what are you doing wrong? What is wrong with me? Why can't I make him happy? And I finally realized it wasn't me. It was him.
I had really bad depression and anxiety and stuff like that. And I had a problem with the bullying in school and problems at home and stuff like that. I used to not get up for school. I used to just sleep all day.
She was actually raised by her dad, and she came to live with me a couple of years ago.
My dad's girlfriend, I don't even know if they're still together, but she used to because my natural hair is really curly, so she used to say that my hair was ugly, and she used to call me names and tell me I'm worthless and stuff like that.
So when she came to live with me, I think she just kind of just let it all out. And she was in the hospital a few times, and we were getting really scared.
In the very beginning, we were at our bottom, relationship-wise, family-wise, we were destroyed.
I joined the military right out of high school. When I was 19 years old, I graduated high school and joined the Army. I was in it for 4 years, and I actually did mortuary affairs. And I got to travel. I went to Afghanistan after 9/11, and also helped at the Pentagon after, the September 11th attacks. Yes, baby. Okay. I started the program when I was 3 months pregnant for Kaimani, and at that point, I really didn't know anything about, being pregnant, becoming a parent. My mother passed away about 7 years ago, and she would be the person that I would, naturally go to talk to about raising a child or what to expect. So I went back to school full-time. My son was about 3 years old when I went back to school. I graduated the LPN program, and I passed my state boards. I'm now a nurse, and I absolutely love my job. And I feel grateful that, my worker was there to help me through the whole process. Any questions that I had or anything that I needed, there's always a resource out there. I feel that, somebody's willing to help or guide you in the right direction if you don't have the guidance that you need. And my worker really helped me with that.
Just a really good support. And it seems like we're all on the same page and we're all like a team. You know, we're a part of the team.
The person on my team that I'm like closest with is my mentor, because I feel like I can talk to her about anything. She's like always there for me, and whenever I'm having like a problem in school or something, I can talk to her about it and she'll help me through it. Like, she's kind of like a second mom to me. Like, I like talking to my mom, but like, you know, when there's stuff that I don't really want to tell my mom, Tammy's there for me, my mentor.
I think before I met her, like, it was kind of individualized to what I needed, because at the time I just wanted that one-on-one. I had the postpartum depression, which just got worse and worse. But with Erica's help, I actually got through it, and I was able to be there for my son, be able to provide for him. Like, it may not be how I want it to be, but at least he's getting the love, the nurturing. Like, he's going to know, like, how to treat people and treat girls.
Most of it was the people taking me out places that I usually wouldn't go. That really helped getting out of the house and getting out of the environment that I was in. It helps just to get out and about.
They helped me out, came to pick me up and went out to eat, or went places and played games and stuff, and talked to me about my problems and took me to where I needed to go and signed me up for school because I wasn't in school, I was being home tutored. The most helpful thing for me keeping on track was to set up goals for myself before I went on with my day and told myself what I had to do and stuff before I had any problems. So therefore I would know what I need to do to make sure I'm straight and I don't get in any trouble in public.
Getting into the program, working with my case planner on a weekly basis, she encouraged, like I said, a lot of different programs. She encouraged, parenting classes. She encouraged outpatient treatments. Just about everything she thought was a good idea, I took. I took every single extra optional program that she encouraged. I saw that, everything helps. There's nothing that can hurt me.
Every couple months we would set new goals, and I feel that I knew what I wanted to do and what I needed to do, but as a single parent, Rita was the person that would really hold me accountable to my goals, and always ask me, did you do this? Did you call this person? How did this go? And I really feel that through that process, she really helped me accomplish all the things, that I've gotten to accomplish. And she was a great worker.
It's Oneida coming to my house twice a month. I felt like I always needed something. I needed to have something good to tell her when she came to see me. I needed to prove that I could do what I was supposed to do as a mother. A single mother.
When we needed, when I had internal problems with my son's mother, she was there. She offered counseling services, and we took them. Her main priority was my son.
He was a very angry, upset kid, confused. Didn't know how to handle life or any problems that came around, so I did what I thought I should do and found Kids Oneida. He went from being such an angry little kid and so confused and frustrated with life that he's done a complete 360. He's completely turned around, and a lot of it has to do with these programs in Kids Oneida. At one point in time, early on, between his senior year of high school, when they did go with the kids and your future's here, let's figure this out, he was actually told he wouldn't be able to be in the military because of all the issues that he had going through these programs and that kind of thing. And he's proved them wrong, so.
A lot of people doubted me about joining the military. Some were for it, some were against it. Half the bandwagon was legally, can I join? The other one were just, they don't think I should be able to join. And I didn't think that that I was going to be able to for a while, but then I just didn't want to accept no for an answer. I just wanted to be in the military. I knew that's exactly what I wanted to do, and I went for it.
I was supposed to start just part-time a few days a week, and I was only there for a week, and they asked me if I would work full-time. And I started at the front desk just as a receptionist. I'd never worked in the medical field before. And 3 months later, they asked me if I'd start doing more technical stuff, doing photos on patients, testing, just things of that sort. And I only did that for 2 months, and then they asked me if I'd become more of a full-time technician. And I started that a few months later, so now I'm an ophthalmic assistant. My strengths are my children. They push me to be who I should be and who I need to be for them. I want them to be like me. I want them to see what life is really supposed to be like.
I'm at Herkimer Community College. I am majoring in fine arts. I plan on doing art therapy. I want to help traumatized victims who have been either sexually abused or even verbally abused, and show them that there's something out there besides living in the past and not trusting in anybody, because that's a lonely world to be in. It just reflects, like, there's certain ways to reflect how you actually feel, and I think artwork says it all.
I think she does express herself through her artwork. A lot of it is, she likes the bands, you know, like the bands that she likes, they're loud bands.
It helps me with my anxiety. Like when I'm in school, like while the teacher's talking, like drawing helps me concentrate, like when I'm really anxious and stuff. And like art is the only class I actually look forward to in school. And art helps me with like my depression and stuff.
Art helps me concentrate and ignore the negative influences around me. So like sometimes I would draw cartoon characters or draw something that is in my head, and that usually helps me forget about what I was frustrated about, and I do origami because that helps me out to release stress instead of taking my anger on somebody else.
He loved photography, always did. It's kind of a, we claim it's a genetic bug in this family, but he did good with it. He was learning how to actually develop the pictures and, you know, see the right way with a camera, that kind of thing.
Chris relies a lot on drawing, singing. He loves music.
Computer, I make beats and dubstep, and I can actually make rock music off my laptop and stuff. Drawing, art, and that just helps me cope when I have troubles. Like if I'm in a bad mood, and I'll just draw and sketch out some stuff, it makes me feel better.
I feel really good about the incident committee, and I felt honored that they asked me out of all people, so I'm ready to do it. I did feel good when it was all together on the same page. I do still feel good that I'm here and helping as I can and doing what I can to help. Maybe I have something that no one's else thought of yet. I think I could bring a lot of good insight. I feel like Kids Oneida saved my life. Like, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been in where I'm at now. If they intervened at the time they did, I probably would have been in more placements than I should have. They really gave me things to do, keep me busy. It was more than just being locked up. It was they come down to your level, and they try to understand where you're coming from.
I want to go to school for psychology because I want to become like a therapist, and I want to work in like the really psych ward, because I feel that people don't understand them, and I feel that I would.
I respect my family's culture. When my mom tells me, like, I can't do this, I have to do that, I respect it and listen to her without giving her any hard times. My mom does not speak English, so I have to talk to her in my own language, so therefore I can't forget about my own language because my mom can't speak English.
Man usul ay diway na man tis usul na ma jirinya dai jirudin ding kalmo imugo an diwatas damang me edoy ba me edoy yo wadan kal ko koy mo ni ling edoy mai wal dip em arag na badi uso dip kas da aragi dihiri mela sanung o dip ka gawai meli dikiri moto say na ay koyang iyo hospital ka dadawi adan iskol iyo ning way diang iskol ka iyo jeng na ka failing fast way iskol ata iskol ka sela warsa da mai iskol fast way de.
And they had an interpreter for my mom because she could understand them and they could understand her.
Ni jeli uso uno ni jelna aboki wali lang kabi ba uno aboki wali o si inangka yo wali doa yang mai o inangka aboki uno mai yo makasoy lak uno aboki wal winga ni le bela mo abusho way kan bal fay lisas la fali yo busong sas bal.
All of my sisters kids, they all look up to me, and most of them come to me when they're having problems instead of going to their parents, and they ask me to take them places like to the park and go play around, and I take them to the park. After Kids United, I made sure all my sisters' kids looked up to me, just so at the end when they grow up they don't end up being immature and doing stupid stuff in public, so they can have respect for themselves and for things around them and avoid any trouble.
Kids Oneida ka bani kalmo.
Yeah.
Iyo school ki
Kids Oneida was
iyo
the most
hospital ki
popular.
jeng iyo school ki jeng Kids
Yeah.
Oneida ka ni kalmo.
I think that it's better for me to be out here in Utica because there's my aunts and my grandpa in this community than in Oneida because I know nobody there. I needed to help myself because I didn't want like my daughter to get taken or her to grow up in that bad environment.
My son is now 4 years old and he's in the Head Start program. He absolutely loves school. He likes all his friends he's met at school and he's doing great, you know, with social development, physical, intellectual. He's a very smart boy.
Steve, he's everything that not only I deserve, but those kids deserve. He's stepped in. He doesn't have any kids of his own. He's never been married, and he'd never missed a beat. He never says, "I can't do this. This is too much." He never gets stressed out, frustrated. He just does it with a smile on his face. Even when the kids are kicking and screaming and fighting, he does it.
It was more stable when I started to live here with my grandparents because it was more of a secure home. Well, here's where I was before and here I am now, and it's like all the way up here. They've taught me a lot of things and I've just learned so much from them. They've helped me with anything I needed. If I needed money to go to college right now, they'll be like, ship me off to Harvard. If I needed a car to go drive to Alaska, they're just willing to help me no matter what.
They always do say that, you know, when children are born, there's not a book that comes with them, you know, so parenting class helped me a lot. We never wanted and we don't want our mistakes to ever impact his life, now or later. I mean, today my life, I would have never thought I'd be where I'm at now. And that just speaks for itself. That she gave us a voice. In the very beginning, we were too weak to stand for ourselves. You know, we had no direction. We didn't know where to start. She showed us the way. She showed us the way to start. She helped us build the strength we needed to make those choices for ourselves for the rest of our lives. like, well, why don't you draw something, you know, that, you know, resembles how you feel, you know, about, you know, her being part of your life. And he was like, me on the beach, the sun shining. And I said, that makes you what? And he said, that makes me happy.
Everybody deserves to be happy.